Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely week or weekend, kind of whenever you're watching this. Today I wanted to sit down and talk about Glossier, which is a brand I actually really love. I love their minimal makeup aesthetic. It's definitely not for everyone, I get that. But I think if you like natural products, dewy products, you like your skin to look like skin, I think Glossier is actually a really great brand. So I'm going to be running through some of my favourite products today. I wanted to do a full face, but I forgot to pick up any eye products, so yeah, the whole full face thing didn't quite work out, but I have everything else, so hopefully that will suffice. Some of these products I've had in my collection for years and I love them, and I will probably continue to repurchase them until the day they stop making them. And other products I just picked up a few weeks ago with this video in mind, because there was a couple of bits that I didn't have and I wanted to try out and ensure that I have for this video. So before we jump into the look and kind of my thoughts on Glossier, I would really love it if you gave this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. I post videos every week, so yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with Future Dew, which is their kind of oil serum hybrid. So I think this is meant to kind of bridge the gap between skincare and makeup, so you can use it as a primer or as kind of like the final step in your skincare routine. So this is £23 and it basically claims to give the skin a more dewy and nourished complexion. So I've just taken 2 pumps and just applying that all over my skin. This isn't going to be like your traditional kind of dewy primer. Comparing it to the Becca Backlight Primer Filter and L'Oreal, I think it's like L'Oreal Lumi Primer. Those ones are a lot more dewy. This is not, but it is super radiant still, and it does really nourish the skin. So I think for winter this is a really great option. It's also a little bit thicker than what I was kind of first anticipating. You should kind of be able to see from the cutaways, but yeah, it's definitely thick. I thought it was going to be quite runny, again quite luminous and dewy, but it definitely isn't that, and I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but yeah, it was just different. Now for foundation, we have the Perfecting Skin Tint. Now there's like coverage and then there's this stuff. It's pretty, it's very minimal. So yeah, this is £20 and they have recently kind of extended their shade range, which is really nice to see. So I have the colour G10, which is a pretty good match to me at the moment, to be honest, because these are so sheer. I think if you were kind of off with the colour by a shade or two, it's not going to make that much difference, because to be honest they kind of blend into nothing. So I personally find the best way to apply this is just with your hands. I found that when I use a sponge or a brush, it just kind of eats away too much of the product. So I've just popped it on my hand and I'm just going to start to kind of work this into the skin. It definitely adds a nice kind of veil on the skin, but as far as coverage goes, does my skin really look that much different to before? Not really. So yeah, if you like this kind of lightweight formula and your skin is near enough perfect, then I do think that this is a nice option for every day. It's really easy to apply, really quick, and yeah, because it's so sheer, you can't really go wrong with the blending and the kind of the application of it. I've also found that it doesn't really set down on the skin, so if I kind of compare it to my MAC Face and Body, that one kind of sets down, so it has a little bit more staying power, whereas this one remains a little bit tacky on the skin. It's not unpleasant by any means, but so you can definitely kind of touch your skin throughout the day and you can kind of still feel it on that. So concealer is next up, and their Glossier Stretch Concealer is kind of what I have here. Oh, and you dropped it on the floor. This is a very kind of emollient, creamy formula. If you have drier under eyes, which I do tend to get in the winter, which is kind of why I have been enjoying using this lately, I think it's going to work really well for you. If you are super prone to creasing, kind of on the lids or again under the eyes, I don't know if this will be the concealer for you. If you have the RMS and Cover Up, this is even more creamy and even more dewy and glowy than that one. So if that's like a really good staple dewy concealer for you, I don't think you would need this. And again, the coverage isn't crazy, but for every day, I have actually been really enjoying reaching for this one. I'm just going to pop a little bit kind of on my chin as well, and just kind of around you know, on the areas that the skin tint didn't really cover. Okay, so after the concealer and the foundation and primer is on, yeah, my skin definitely still looks like skin. It's very dewy, it's very radiant, but it's just been evened out, so it doesn't look heavy in any areas. So Glossier don't yet have a bronzer, unfortunately. I'm really really hoping that that is something that they come out with, because I would love to see their take on a cream bronzer. So I'm just going to use my Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. Okay, so now that we have kind of added a bit of warmth back into the face, we are going to be moving on to their cloud paints. I have 4 of these, and I think this is probably one of my favourite cream blush formulas. So yeah, these are definitely a big win for me from the brand. So I've got the shade, what's this one? This is Dawn, which is quite a nice orangey terracotta. Beam, which is a little bit more of a soft peachy colour. Puff, which is a nice kind of cool toned pink. And Dusk, which is more of a kind of nude pink shade. This one I really really like all year round. I think it's a really really good colour to have. So when I did my recent order to just pick up a couple of the bits that I was missing, I received this little sachet sample of Storm and Puff, and I thought I've never used Storm before, and I think it's a really really nice colour for this time of year, so I'm going to go in with that today and try and use this little sample if I can. So this is a really nice kind of warm berry colour. It looks to be quite similar to Lovejoy by NARS, which is a powder blush that I am absolutely obsessed with in the autumn. So it's got that same kind of warm berry colour. So I'm just picking this up on a duo fibre brush. You really do not need a lot of product when it comes to applying these. A little goes a very very long way. Yeah, I really like that shade. I might have to add that into my collection. It's got a little bit of a purple hue to it as well, so it's a little bit different, kind of giving that really nice flushed berry look. So yeah, they are very very easy to apply, very easy to blend, but you don't need a lot. Just to say it again, you don't need a lot, so apply with caution, but they always look just super lovely and fresh and natural on the skin. So moving on to highlight, this is the Glossier Halo Scope. I did have all 3 shades, but Quartz, which is one I have here, is kind of best suited to my skin tone, so this is one that I kept, and then I just gave the other 2 away. This is a very very balmy highlight. It's got like a kind of ring of pigment around the edge, and then in the middle it has a little bit of like moisture there. I do like this formulation. It's not my favourite for every day, but I think there is kind of a time and a place for something like this that's a bit more minimal. So I just kind of rub the product onto my fingers, which don't know if that's the proper way to apply it, but that's what I do. And then I just warm it up and then just pass it onto the tops of my cheekbones. Again, just like everything else, this is not going to be your blinding highlight that you're going to, you know, want to wear for a night out. It's not that at all. But for an everyday glow, I think it works well. Just adding a little bit more. So Quartz is, so this one is quite a nice champagne highlight colour. So for my skin tone, it suits really, really well. They do have a slightly darker one. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. And then they have one which is basically clear, and I don't really think that that one did anything. I think it was called Moonstone, but that was just a little bit too nothing for me. So it hasn't given me much, but there's definitely a nice glow there. So I was really really excited when Glossier released, it's very loud. So I was really really excited when Glossier released their loose powder, because I thought, you know, their whole kind of ethos around the brand has been really minimal and natural and skin-like, and so I thought, you know, a powder from a brand like that, it's got to be good. And it was. I really really like it. If you have dry skin, if you really don't like the look of powder on the skin, then I think this one is going to be right up your street. So I'm taking it on a kind of fluffy powder brush here, just dipping a little bit off into the lid first, just so we don't get a huge puff of powder everywhere. And then I'm just going to set, I'm going to do one side of my face, and then hopefully you can kind of see the difference that it makes. I'm kind of keeping it in the centre of my face. I'm not going too far across the cheekbones, because obviously we have applied, you know, we have applied blush and stuff like that. So just keeping it focused down the centre of the skin. And you can see that that's kind of taken away some of the shine, but It doesn't look heavy, it's not cakey, it's not flat. It's a really, really nice powder. And I think if you are using all of these products at once, because they are so luminous and dewy and they don't really set down, I think it's really, really nice to have the powder as well. So in my little haul that I did a few weeks ago, I picked up the Brow Flick, which is a product I really, really, really wanted to try. I've never used a brow pen, so it's really, really fine and it's really good at creating those super realistic hair-like strokes. This is just in the shade brown, which is a really, really good match actually. It's quite cool toned, which can be quite hard to find in brow products. A lot of the time they can be quite warm and almost a bit reddish kind of when you apply them on the skin, but this really, really isn't like that. It is a little bit darker than what I thought, so if you have kind of lighter hair than me and you think that the brown would match you well, it does come off a little bit darker, so just bear that in mind. As far as how easy this is to apply, I think it's definitely something, you know, kind of like winged liner, you have to just practice at it. Because it is quite a kind of pigmented pen, if you make a mistake, it's going to be quite obvious. So work carefully, work slowly, and I'm sure it will look fine. So yeah, I'm just going to speed kind of through this because yeah, I need concentration when using this because it's so precise that I don't want to mess up. So. I don't feel like it dries up when you're kind of halfway through filling in the brow, which is a really, really good plus point. I've obviously only had this for a couple of weeks, so I don't know how long this will last me. But I know that a good kind of tip in terms of storing them is to store them so that the pen is facing down, so that obviously the ink is kind of always running to the tip of the brush. So yeah, but I do like that. It's sort of the quickest thing to use, again, because it's so precise. For me anyway, it's just kind of like winged liner. You have to really kind of sit there and take your time to really kind of finesse the product in, but once you get used to it and the kind of motion of the real kind of like flick of the wrist, I think it is a really, really good product. Another brow product that I love and have used for years and years is the Brow Boy. So this is kind of similar to Gimme Brow. It's a, you know, tinted fiber brow gel. Going to fill in the brows as well as kind of shaping them and adding some definition. It's got a really, really kind of teeny tiny wand, which is really, really good at kind of really getting in the root of the hair. It's very similar to Benefit Gimme Brow. So if you've used that and you want to try something a little bit different, then I would suggest these. It's a really, really good kind of one and done brow look if you don't really have time to be faffing about with a pencil or, you know, the Brow Flick. This is a really, really good one. So I realised that when I was kind of doing my little haul to pick out a few products that I didn't have already, I completely forgot about eye products. So I don't have the mascara, I don't have the eyeliner, I don't have the kind of cloud wash liquid shadows that they have. So yeah, the whole, you know, full face thing kind of went out the window. I'm gonna do a kind of similar look to what I probably would have done if I had those products. I'm just gonna use a really quick eyeshadow palette. This is the Tartlette in Bloom, which is a really, really lovely one for every day. So I'm just going to take a couple of the colours from here, probably sticking to these more pinky rosy tones. I'm then going to line my eyes with a liquid liner, again, because Glossier do have liquid liner, and then just use mascara. So yeah, sorry that I didn't have those products. I was kind of sitting down and I was like, oh, I don't have any of the eye products. Great. So hopefully a good old Soap & Glory Super Cat Liner, a bit of L'Oreal Bambi mascara will be a good alternative. So that side's done, and you can definitely get a similar look if you do happen to have their liquid liner and their mascara. It's really, really simple, literally the simplest eye look ever. So yeah, okay, moving on to lips. And these are the Generation G lipsticks. I only have the shade Cake, which is quite a nice kind of peachy, it's a little bit darker actually, kind of like a darker peachy nude. I've been really, really enjoying this at the moment. It's quite autumnal, so I really like that. And then we have the classic lip gloss. Mine is ever so slightly discoloured because I've clearly been using it over lipsticks. Anybody else's lip glosses just like they don't look clear anymore, do they? I think that maybe lasts for about 2 seconds. So the lipsticks I like. They are not as creamy as maybe some other lipsticks, which kind of surprised me. I thought that Glossier would be the kind of brand that would come out with a really creamy, almost like tinted balm like product. But they're not. They do drag a little bit on the lips. They don't feel uncomfortable when they're on the lips, but as far as kind of when you're applying them, you do feel a little bit dry. I haven't used any of the darker shades, so I don't know how those look or how those apply. I'm just kind of talking from my experiences about using Cake in particular. So yeah, and I do think they have reformulated these. I had the original lipstick formula when they first launched. So I went to one of their launch events when they came over to the UK, which I was like so excited about and just over the moon. And I think I had, again, Cake in there, and I think it was Jam, which is a slightly deeper purpley colour, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I do remember those being, again, quite dry, which I think is why they reformulated them. So yeah, they're not your creamiest lipstick on the market, but they were quite nice. So that's what Cake looks like, and it's really, really nice actually. I love the shade. I think it's beautiful. It's quite matte as well, so again, a little bit more autumn appropriate. I am going to top it with a little bit of the gloss. I'm just going to pop a little bit in the centre and just kind of kiss that up to the top. Nothing too crazy. This is quite an intense lip gloss. It's really nice actually. It's not sticky. It gives off a lovely shine. And it's definitely one that I am really, really happy to have in my collection. So that is everything. That is my kind of full face minus the eyes of Glossier. And overall, I really, really like Glossier. If you're into that minimal makeup look, if you if you don't want to wear a lot of makeup day to day and you quite like the sheer products, then I think they really, really have it nailed. And they really, really filled a kind of gap in the market, I think. And a lot of brands have come out with similar products since then, and I think it really kind of kick-started the more natural, minimal trend, which is really, really good to see. I don't think everyone needs to be piling on full coverage foundations every day. In terms of my kind of favourites from the brand, I think the Cloud Paint, definitely, and I really, really like Storm as well. I think I might have to pick that up, just so I have it over the autumn and winter. I'm also really, really impressed with the the Brow Flick words. Yeah, the Brow Flick and Boy Brow as well. Yeah, I've already repurchased Boy Brow about 4 times, so you know, need I say more? And I think Brow Flick as well. Yeah, I definitely think I will repurchase this. And then kind of for complexion, I think the Future Dew is really, really nice. I think for winter, this is something that I will be heavily relying on to ensure that my skin is still looking radiant and hydrated. And also the Wowder as well. I have quite dry skin, so for me powders are kind of one of those products that I hate to apply, but sometimes I feel like I do need to, and this is a really, really good one. So let me know if you have any Glossier favourites down below, which maybe I didn't mention, and if you've tried the mascara and the eyeliner or the cloud washes. Is that what they're called? Glossier Cloud Wash? Sky Wash. Sky Wash is what they're called. Yeah, if you've tried those, or the eyeliner and mascara, definitely let me know how you found them down below. And maybe I'll pick them up for another video and kind of see how I get on with them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!